Hi, and welcome to How to Uncover and Overcome Self-Sabotage. I'm Andrea, the Dominant Mindset Coach. I was a dominatrix for 12 years and now I'm a confidence coach. And I love to talk about self-sabotage because it's the one thing that can come in and just undo all of my good work. And with me today, I have Yannick.
Hi, I'm known as the Naked Coach on social media. I'm a confidence and mindset coach, and I'm fascinated with self-sabotage. So why do we do it? How do we notice it? And how do we overcome it?
Amazing. And what are we covering this week, Yannick?
So this week is an alternate week. So we're covering one of the powers of the sage. So this week's power is the innovate power. So the innovate power is a desire to improve on the initial idea. So one of the important things is that it requires that we let go of the initial idea in order to generate more ideas.
Okay, so is that a bit like being unattached to the outcome?
Partly, yes. So it's basically it's being unattached, but then at the same time, it's almost like it's being unattached, but having being open to exploring and finding new ways and new ideas.
Okay, cool. So what are some of the emotions that are associated with the innovate power?
So joy, excitement, playfulness, and spontaneity tend to be associated with the power of innovate.
Okay, and when we are engaging the innovate power, is there anything that we can do to strengthen that power?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple of things that you can do, but I'll settle on one for the purpose of this video. It's the yes and game. So as you're basically somebody generates an idea, what you would do is that there's always 10% of an idea that tends to be valid, that tends to be good. So even if if the majority of an idea might not necessarily be great, there's always a little something in an idea that's great. So the goal is to basically find the part of the idea that was just shared with you and repeat that to the person. Say, oh, what I love about this idea is, and then repeat the part that you like, and then say, and then add something to sort of augment, and then the person gets to feel validated.
Okay.
And then tends to be open at saying, oh, hey, I hadn't thought of that. Well, what I like about that is, and then you can see how you can play back and forth and just be open to what comes up. And the goal is really to generate as many options as possible. There's at this point, you're not looking to see if it's valid, if it's going to work or not. Just come up with as many options as possible. Then once you've gone through the process and have generated some additional ideas, then you can sort of decide, okay, so let's take all of these aside and see, could they work, and be maybe a little bit more analytical, but only after the game is played. So not while you're doing and generating new ideas.
So can we play this on Friday?
Yeah, and
excellent. Maybe what we could do, depending on how many people turn up for the Clubhouse chat, but could we go around the room, get
Absolutely.
everyone on stage, and we come up with something silly maybe, and just go around the room and see what ideas come up and what our imaginations do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way of practicing.
Excellent. I'm excited for that. So in terms of pitfalls though and things we need to look out for, how can the saboteurs interfere with the innovate power?
So that's a great question, Andrea. So there are 10 saboteurs. So there are 10 ways that the saboteurs can interfere with the innovate power. And depending on which are your strongest saboteurs, this is how it might show up. So the judge basically might say, you see what's wrong? We'll see what's wrong and not what's right about the idea. So we'll decide that not playing the game. It's the idea is completely wrong, as opposed to having there's always at least 10%. So finding the 10% and then adding to it, the judge will say, no, the whole thing's bad. The avoider will tend to limit innovation to avoid ideas that basically might end up being like unpleasant or challenging to pursue. The controller will narrow the scope of idea generation so that they don't lose control of the narrative. The hyperachiever will narrow the scope to existing achievement, anything that's already been achieved. So the hyper-rational will narrow the scope to what's rational and sensible. Remember, the goal is to come up with as many as possible and leave the judgment at the door. You can then, once all these ideas have come up, then you can start to look at them maybe from a little bit more of a rational mind. The hyper-vigilant will be threatened by innovation because it'll introduce risk and anxiety. The pleaser will suppress their own desire of innovation because he might be worried that by sharing this, what I like about this idea, as opposed to saying, about the whole idea, just a part of it, might think that the other person feels that they are being shunned it's like we'll just want to avoid getting into the game because he wants to please, and for them pleasing tends to be sort of like it's an all or nothing kind of game. The restless will pursue the next exciting idea, so we'll say like what I like about this idea, and then we'll just kind of take off with the new idea that they've just come up with, as opposed to staying here and continuing building on that on the game. The stickler will narrow the idea generation through anxious premature need to know specifics, like, wait a sec, like how is that going to work, or how would we make that work? Again, the object and the goal is to come up with as many ideas as possible, and then after you're done, then start looking at them maybe from a little bit more of a critical mind. And the victim will basically diminish the enthusiasm about the game and its potential impact.
Excellent. So all good things to be able to look out for. And I'm excited to discuss this on Friday and see what comes up. And I can't wait to play this game. This is going to be so good. So yeah, and can this game, do you think it can be played as a written game? So maybe we could start a thread in the Facebook group or the LinkedIn group and see what people come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we could do is that once we drop this video, we could probably come up with a situation and maybe just put a okay, so this is sort of like the original idea.
Yeah.
And let's get everybody to add innovate to this and see what it comes up. And we just have to come up with a subject that we would start off with, and then just have people sort of like innovate on that topic.
Yeah, I really like the sound of that, and creating the subject. So we could do that. And
what I like about the idea is and yeah,
see, we're doing it. Excellent. Right, cool. So this is it.
You just did it right there, right? It's like, I can't wait to do this in Clubhouse. And what do you think about doing that? Well, that's basically you're a pro. You just played the game.
Yes, excellent. Right. So please join us on Friday so that you can play this game with us and see how it goes. Also, so the chat on Friday is a Q&A on Clubhouse, and it's at 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, or 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you join us on Facebook, and join us on all of these places, right? But on Facebook or LinkedIn, the group is called How to Uncover and Overcome Self-Sabotage. So please send us a request and join there. We put lots of coaching nuggets and insights and extra tips and things in there, which Yannick very expertly comes up with. So please join us there, and please do the assessment and bring your results as well, which is positiveintelligence.com. And like and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any videos. We release one every Thursday at noon UK time, so please be one of the ones who gets this video first. Is there anything else that I need to add?
No, I think you just stole my line.
I know. Do it anyway. Do it.
So as Andrea said, please complete the assessment. There'll be a link to the assessment in the description for the video, and bring your results with us. If you have any questions, please drop it in one of the groups, Facebook or LinkedIn. And we definitely look forward to continuing the conversation on Clubhouse on Fridays.
Amazing. Good. We'll see you then.